Trump. And the supporters, I asked them, how do you feel about it that he's having fourth indictment? Does it make you feel, less strong about him? And all of them actually said, no, on the other hand, we actually feel even stronger and we want to support him. And this is a witch hunt and this is against the Constitution. So this was sort of the mood. They were singing. All of them had logos, on their T-shirts, on their socks, on their pants. Everyone was very dressed up and it was very interesting to observe that.
Lenka, do tell us about when you were there reporting. I'm sure there were other journalists as well. At that point, till now he was evading arrest. Finally, that arrest has come. What does this mean for Donald Trump's presidential run? Do you think it could hamper it? It may not stop for a while, but at least this could hamper that he had to be taken into custody for tampering with earlier elections.
That's a great question. There are many debates about it. What will actually happen to him, if anything? Is he going to prison or is he not? But what I can say is that definitely since this all started, his rating has been actually going up, and the people feel more stronger about him. And all of the supporters told me, thank you for that, because you're actually doing him an advertisement. You're actually, showing him to the world and to the United States and showing on the flaws we are having in the system. So there is this twofold sort of view whether it's worse or better for him. But many of them think actually it's going to be better and that he's getting a lot of attention thanks to that.
All right. Thank you so much, Lenka White, as always, for updating us. You were there right in Georgia, so you understood the mood as well about what was happening. And, keep updating us about the situation, about how it's turning and what it's looking like in the USA. Thank you so much. Reporting from Georgia, senior journalist Lenka White with the latest on that. Let's go across to India. Today's Foreign Affairs editor Geeta Mohan as well. Geeta, we've been tracking the charges that are rising against him. It's only increasing. He was also giving some statements with regard to India. But this should be considered big, isn't it? A former US president, someone who wants to be the future US president, briefly gets arrested, and what an angry mugshot there of him. All right, so take a look at the details on your screen right now. This is... we are being told the mugshot that you're looking at. Remember that for now, Donald Trump was avoiding any mugshots as well. Because he wasn't really being arrested at, even if there was a brief detention, it wasn't that there was any mugshot taken. So this is one of the first. And clearly the anger on his face, very visible. And what did he say once that happened, once he got out on bail? Here's what Donald Trump said.
What has taken place here is a travesty of justice. We did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. And everybody knows it. I've never had such support. And that goes with the other ones, too. What they're doing is election interference. They're trying to interfere with an election. There's never been anything like it in our country before. This is their way of campaigning. And this is one instance, but you have three other instances. It's election interference. So I want to thank you for being here. We did nothing wrong at all. And we have every right, every single right, to challenge an election that we think is dishonest, that we think...
An update coming in after the BRICS summit from South Africa. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is en route Greece right now, because remember, it's not a return immediately. There is going to be a day of interactions in Greece as well, in Athens, and this is, as Prime Minister Modi said, about ancient civilization that India and Greece has been. So what happened at the BRICS summit? We are being told that there was a discussion over unresolved issues of the line of actual control with Chinese Premier Xi Jinping. And now in Greece, Prime Minister Modi, while departing from South Africa, becoming the first Indian Prime Minister to visit Greece in the last 40 years. And there are going to be bilateral meetings today in Athens, and Prime Minister Modi spoke to the Chinese president also at the BRICS in Johannesburg. So, of course, it's been a packed itinerary. There have been about these 2 to 3 days in South Africa. And while he was there, of course, it was the big moment for him, for India, when Chandrayaan-3 mission landed. Let's go across to India Today's Foreign Affairs editor. Geeta, we're looking at the visuals of him departing from South Africa. And how should we see this brief interactions and the BRICS summit that has been, and from South Africa to Greece now?
Well, Pooja, every time Prime Minister Modi goes abroad, now he's made it a part of his entire diplomatic plan to always visit a new country, country of importance, when either on his way back or while he's going to a particular country. So it's normally a 2-country or 3-country visit. This time around on his way back, like last time from the US, he stopped by and had a very important visit to Egypt. This time around on his way back, he's holding another bilateral visit in Greece, a very important one, like you rightly said. It's in a very, very long time that a prime ministerial visit has happened. The last one was in 1983 when Indira Gandhi had traveled to the country, and now it is Prime Minister Modi. It is going to be an important visit. There are, apart from the ceremonial reception and the various meetings that he is going to have with the business community, prominent personalities, and interaction with the Indian community, there are bilateral talks that are going to be held between the two sides. And Greece, that has supported India's candidature at the UNSC and has also stood beside India through the nuclear test, is a country that is very important and is considered the gateway to Europe. So we will have to wait and see what the outcome of this visit is going to be. But for now, the importance on the agenda are going to be cross-border terrorism issues. There are going to be issues and conversations with regards to trade, regional security, economic and investments are on the cards because he is going to meet Greek businessmen as well. So a lot on the agenda, and certainly emphasizing the importance of countries in the farther region that are important to India, and that certainly have not been given the importance or the
very interesting
the focus.
And also how South Africa and Greece have had such different history in so many ways. Meeting both these countries, interactions there as well. One BRICS summit, but in Greece, of course, it's going to be a bit more of a personal interaction as well. Thank you so much. Geeta Mohan will be tracking the latest on how the summit has been. But it was in Johannesburg and that handshake that everyone's talking about. Prime Minister Narendra Modi was spotted having a brief exchange of words with Chinese President Xi Jinping at the sidelines of the 15th BRICS summit. Prime Minister Modi conveyed, according to our sources, to the Chinese Premier, India's concerns on unresolved issues along the line of actual control in eastern Ladakh. The meeting comes less than 2 weeks from the G20 summit, which will be held in New Delhi. Foreign Secretary Vinay M. Quatra shared details of the conversation between the two leaders at the BRICS summit.
In a conversation with President Xi Jinping of China, Prime Minister highlighted India's concerns on the unresolved issues along the LAC in the western sector of the India-China border areas. Prime Minister underlined that the maintenance of peace and tranquility in the border areas and observing and respecting the LAC are essential for the normalization of the India-China relationship. In this regard, the two leaders agreed to direct their relevant officials to intensify efforts at expeditious disengagement and de-escalation.
So let's try and understand what does this mean. India Today, Shiv Arur and Gaurav Sawant help decode the significance of Prime Minister Modi's meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping on the sidelines of the BRICS summit and ahead of the G20.
On Thursday evening India time, the Indian Ministry of Foreign Affairs reported that the Indian Prime Minister and the Chinese President did have a few comments to say to each other. Very interesting because Gaurav, who's with me right now to analyze this, there's been a high degree of anticipation, first of all, over whether there would have been a bilateral. That has not happened, but there appears to have been some kind of a mini pull-aside. The two leaders were seen shaking hands. They did appear to exchange some brief comments, but now the Foreign Secretary